Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video guide for Conan Exiles. This time around, I am once again on the Isle of Siptah and I'm going to show you everything you need to know about getting the Rhino Mount. So there are several ways of getting a Rhino Mount. There is, of course, the natural spawn in the world, which is a rare occurrence, and I'll show you that in a bit. And this is what it'll look like. It does have a couple of saddles. My English isn't all that great at this point in time. And of course you can ride it. Now we will talk about everything that you need to know about these guys. As you can see, they have okay health, and this is what you can feed them so that they regenerate. It is a rideable creature, and you can ride it. Once you do mount it up, of course it will want to follow you. The Rhino is, of course, a combat mount, so you can fight on it. You can ride it just pretty much like you do the horse, and you dismount it with C on the PC. Now, as you can see, its turning radius isn't that great. It does have that initial momentum, and you can sprint with the Rhino, although the Rhino, of course, does have less stamina compared to the horse, so it will run out of stamina a lot quicker. Another thing to keep in mind is you cannot open the gates to your wonderful palace if you are mounted, and if your Rhino is sticking through the gate, once again you cannot access or open the gate whilst dismounted. So it's one of those little derpy things that the game does have. So let's have a look at what this creature can do in terms of stamina, in terms of combat. Now this is the more beautiful saddle. There are, of course, a variation of saddles, and as you can see, just by riding it, I did get some XP. You can just run through creatures and stomp on them, and just keep an eye on the stamina. As you can see, the stamina does run out fairly quick, and that isn't really a fast mount. I don't think. It doesn't feel that fast, at least. Another thing it can do is it can do a headbutt, so we'll have a look at that, and that does quite a bit of damage. Just so you guys know, it does actually a decent amount of damage. You can use this whilst running, although you do need to time it, which can sometimes, as you saw there, be a bit of a challenge, especially because you cannot really see the Rhino's head, so timing it could be a bit of a thing. Or alternately, if you don't want to run and charge at creatures and hit them with your horn, you can just go up to them and fight them as normal. As you can see, they do quite a bit of damage. Now these are low level, or starting level creatures, so they will take quite a bit of damage. Also, the Rhino, notice, does take quite a significant amount of damage as well, so you want to be careful with it. It's not as tanky as you would think. The controls are very similar, well, exactly just like the horse's controls. I think the annoying bit is the stamina drain, which is pretty bad. There we go. It is a nice mount. It is worth getting, and I'm just going to warn you right here, this is going to be a bit of a challenge to get here on the Isle of Siptah. For a start, it's a rare spawn from what I have seen. Although I have found the rhinos, or 2 spawn points for the Rhino on the map, don't expect to see it there every single time. Apart from that, it does look pretty darn cool. I like the way this creature looks. So I'm glad that this has been introduced into the game. And also on that note, I do like the mounting and dismounting animations. They look very realistic, so the devs have put quite a bit of effort into it. We're about to get a storm by the looks of things, so just look at the dismounting animation. Pretty cool, I like it. It's probably the way you would dismount something like this. Whoop! We had a creature spawn on top of us. We'll deal with this. Now, of course, there is also another way of getting the Rhino mount, and that is more of a end content type of method to get the Rhino calf. So I'll cover both of them in the video. This makes me believe that this is more of an end game content sort of mount. This is another saddle that you can get. I'm not going to showcase all of the saddles. Basically, the other saddles are a variation of this with fewer things going on with it. So this is basically what you can expect from the Rhino mount. I do like this one though. This is quite a unique saddle. It has a lot going for it in terms of design. So I personally like this one. So let's have a look at the spawn locations. First one is right here. So you can find it from this point right there. So right there, it's somewhere around there. This is where you'll find it. Going southwards just a bit. Now, bear in mind, as I've said, and I'm going to emphasize on that, this is a rare spawn. So you do want to come and check it out, but it does not mean you will have a Rhino mount guaranteed. There is one right there, I think. Yes, there is. And at first they do look like the stones. So just to kind of show you that they do spawn in the world. Now, what you're seeing here, the result is after many attempts to get that. Also, you will get the horse foal right there. So let's see where I am on the map. So somewhere right here between this point, so right there and down to the bottom where the other area is, this is where you'll find them. So there, from there to this area is where I've seen the rhinos mount. They do seem to spawn in various locations, so keep that in mind. The second location I found on the map where the rhinos spawn will be right here. So this is the location exactly. I did get my locations confused, so we will teleport to that location in a bit. I'm just going to show you kind of the area where you want it to be, just give you an aerial view of it. So this is where the horse is. So you want somewhere around there is where I've seen them, and then kind of south of that horse, where that horse is. You don't want to go too far up north from where the foal spawns, but I have seen them around here. So they might have traveled, not necessarily spawned there. Do keep that in mind, because it is a rare spawn, and if I was around here looking for things and trying things out, they might have wandered about and ended up there. But it is still good to know. The other spawn point that I found them in is right here in these bushes. Now these bushes will most often spawn in dog-like creatures, hyena-like creatures actually, and they come in twos. Now what you want to know about this location is that when it doesn't spawn the dogs, it will spawn two rhinos or two rhino babies. So again, I've not been able to get this spawn point to do it for me. It is, as I said, a rare occurrence, so keep that in mind. There are the dogs, of course, they are picking a fight, or the rhinos are picking a fight with the dogs, but it is another location right here. As you can see, there are fully grown rhinos all around as well, but it's that bush where I've seen them spawn in. So once you have your baby rhinos, what you need is a taming pen, as you can see right here, or animal pen. You will want some fibers in there, and then you can place your rhinos in the pen, and they will eventually turn into full-grown rhinos. This is basically the exact same method as with the rhinos before. However, in the past, these creatures were not rideable, and they have become rideable creatures as of the latest DLC, which is the Isle of Siptah. Take them and put them in your inventory when they are ready. If you leave them there for too long, they will consume the fibers and turn it into poop, so you don't really want to be doing that. Put it on your hotbar, place down the rhino, and there's your mount right there. Now, to ride it, you will need the bench that allows you to craft the saddle. Now, whilst I'm on this topic, I'm going to show you how to preserve your pets, and this applies to combat pets as well as rideable pets. So notice that there's a spoil timer on my Rhino. I'm just going to put this guy in the preserving box, as you can see right there. And everything that I've put in here in terms of the pet and the creatures that I've got do not have a spoil timer anymore, so you can store them indefinitely. Same thing applies to the fold and pretty much anything or any creature, as far as I know, that has a spoil timer. A good way of stocking up, to be honest, so definitely worth noting. And over here we have the saddler's workbench, so you will have to unlock this in order to craft these saddles. So what do you need to do that? I am going to spawn in the saddles this time around just to keep my life easy. This is a guide, so let's have a look at what you'll need. You'll need to learn this right here, which will then allow you to craft the saddler's bench and will allow you to craft the saddles. The more you level up, the better the saddle that you can craft, and you can come over here and you will be able to see the saddles. Now I don't have the appropriate level for it, but you can of course learn it this way. We'll go further down, and as you scroll down you will see all the various saddles that you will be able to craft. We got the horse saddle right there, and we can already do some of the rhino saddles. So there you are. That's how you do it. Basically you just learn these skills, then you go to the saddler's bench and use the materials that you need to craft these saddles. Now if you do have a thrall in there, you can of course reduce the cost for crafting these saddles. There are, I believe, 4 saddles that you can craft. They are slightly different in design, and let's have a look right here. Yeah, there are a total of 5 saddles, so I did count them wrong. There's 5 horse saddles and 5 rhino saddles. They do seem to be placed in here though quite randomly, which is a bit annoying. But as you can see, these are the costs for crafting them. And as I said, if you want to reduce this, you will want to have a thrall in that bench. The better quality thrall that you have in there, the better the cost reduction. So you will spend a lot less. So we're going to have a look at some of the saddles. I'm not going to showcase all of the saddles. There's no point. You guys can look at that. So you access the Rhino's inventory. You place it in the saddle tab, and there you go. There is the saddle for this creature. This is one of the saddles. You can see in the distance there another saddle for a rhino. So I think these are the best looking saddles, if you ask me. I do like the detail. The turning radius isn't all that magnificent, to be fairly honest. Now I'm going to park this guy here, and I'm going to show you another way of getting the rhino, and what makes me think that this is more of an endgame type of mount. Because the next method is going to be difficult, and to get to that point you will have to go through the vaults, which are quite challenging, and even the process of getting the mount is still challenging in itself. So as you can see, I am at the Lay Shrine. So what you'll need to do is you will need to activate a surge, and you can do that by putting in the whatever question marks they are. You will want to, of course, not burst. So you don't want to put more than 1,000. So I would say a stack of 20 greater question marks, because they don't have a name, should be sufficient to get the summoning through the Lay Shrine to a point where it will spawn in the rhinos. You don't want to burst it. You don't want to get to 1,000. If you put a stack of 20 greater question marks, because that is so weird to say, you will burst it and you will get different creatures. You will get, I believe, the elephant calf. So that's what you want to achieve. Once you have all of the stuff ready, just start the Surge, and eventually you will see a Rhino drop from the Surge. So I'm going to try and get a good position to see. You can actually see what does drop. So we've started the Surge. And let's have a look at what we get. We should be able to tell if we get a Rhino at any point. There we go. You can see a creature right there. That is the Rhino calf. Just walk up to it, put it in your inventory. As usual, they will weigh quite a bit. And then from this point forward, you will have all these guys to fight or tame, depending on what you want to do. Now, of course, because that is a high tier Surge, that means you have to be well prepared, well geared, and yes, fairly strong to deal with them. So that's what makes me think that this is more of an endgame sort of mount, that compiled with the fact that it is a rare spawn. So it's kind of comparable to the rare named thralls on the Exiles map. It doesn't happen very often. With that being said and done, that is pretty much it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethum Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video's description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.